Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm so excited to show you how to make this bracelet. So I cannot believe how beautiful this turned out. The original design was this here, a nice long one, but I wasn't sure how long it would take to make. I remember this taking a long time and it was frustrating. Of course, this is like the design idea in a finished bracelet. So sometimes those take a lot longer. So I thought, well, let me see if we have these lovely 6mm pearls that we got in our Victorian Gothic Curiosities box from John Bead. And I thought this would be perfect to make a sunflower flower bracelet and maybe to do a wristlet using these slider clasps that I just love now. They're like so much easier for doing a video, something short, because it's too long for you guys to watch an hour and a half video. So I'm trying to reduce my videos down to about a half an hour. So we'll see how long. I'm pretty sure this is going to take an hour from beginning to end. So we'll go quickly through the information at the start. So you are going to need a few things. Definitely your 6mm pearls, brown pearls from the Victorian Gothic collection, number 20 of the Curiosities box. I'll put the links in the description for the John Bead Friends and Family site where you can order your next box, the next one. There's some Victorian Gothics available as well. And the next one is an Easter themed one. I just wanted to point out about the amount of beads we got in of these lovely brown pearls and how gorgeous these pearls are. I actually made a whole other bracelet with these, and then I made this one here. We're going to make one in the video, and guess what? I have 12 more, which is how many you need to make this bracelet. I'm making another one, and that is incredible to get that much out of a curiosity box. So I just wanted to point that out because that was pretty exciting. So the other thing you're going to need, the other items are optional. You're going to need some 4mm bicones. You can switch that out for whatever it is you want, either a 4mm pearl or maybe a large 6/0 bead would fit in there nicely. So this is for the embellishment. Let me enlarge this so you can really get a good idea what I'm talking about here. So you're just using those 4mm for the embellishment at the end and to kind of hold things so that they're not flip-flopping around. You're going to need some super duos. I have the amount used in this bracelet here is 60, and that's about half of a tube. If you get your tubes like this, it's about half of a tube. So it's not a whole lot. It looks like a lot in the bracelet itself. Then I used demi rounds, and these are Toho demi rounds 11/0 iris green brown. And that's to attach your 4mm bicones in those spots. And I use Preciosa bicones for this design. And you're going to need a 11/0 seed bead. I'm using the Permalux yellow brown matte 11/0, and these are so unbelievable, this Permalux colors. You can use whatever color you want to embellish your, you could use yellow beads or you could use gold beads for that matter, really blinging up. Maybe I'll do the next one with gold beads to make it really blingy. So that's what you need. And you're going to need some scissors and some thread. I'm going to use the 1G thread this time. I'm kind of switching things around. You will need something super thin for this because we are passing through beads a few times and it gets a bit sticky around the ends because we're weaving back and forth and then coming back through the few beads at the the ends of the bracelet. So you're going to take a full wingspan. You'll probably end up using another half a wingspan to finish it up. Your scissors. And I'm going to use this Thread Magic. You can get this at Michael's. I got mine at the beading room. Now, I bought the rest that she had. So unless she gets some more in, yeah. I cannot believe how amazing this is. Now, if you don't have this Thread Magic, you can go ahead and use some wax. I do have some beeswax, but it's really old and I'm finding it's very like crumbly. So I may have to melt it and then reset it, see if that makes a difference. I think when I bought it, it said it was real beeswax. I think it was a cross between beeswax and paraffin wax, because it doesn't make any sense that it's crumbly like that. Just using a size 12 needle. I'm using my old glasses, hence I can't see what I'm doing here. Okay, so we got it threaded, and let's tilt the camera. Get some of these lovely beads out. Since we don't need these till the very end, we'll move these guys over. And we'll put our 11-0 Permalux yellow-brown right there, and we'll put those aside. So you're going to start, trying to remember how I started this. Okay, you're going to start by picking up an 11-0, a 6-0 pearl. Jeez, I have to think about that. I just did it earlier. We are going to pick up another 11-0, and we're going to pick up 5 super duos. I'll show you what we have. So you have your, let's enlarge that. Okay, so that's what you have. So 11-0, 6mm pearl, 11-0, and 5 super duos. The first one, we're going to bring this down to the bottom, and we're going to create a loop and tie a knot, and that will be the first section. I do find with the conditioning of the thread that it makes the thread really staticky, so it sticks to your hands. Make a knot. So you've got your loop. Make a knot. And tie another knot. There, like that. I'm going to do a third knot. Just like that. There. Now you're going to clip that tail off. And we're going to go through your 11-0 And I'm going to make sure this is very much in view here. There. Okay. Go through your pearl as well. Like that. Now you're going to pick up an 11-0, a pearl, you can bring those down. That. Now you're going to pick up 5 super duos. That. 2, 4, 5. You're going to come around. You're coming out of the top of the pearl. You're going to come around to the bottom of the pearl. You know what? I think we're supposed to put 11 O's on either side of those pearls, or those super duos. So I picked up an 11-0, then put back the 5 super duos, and then another 11-0. That makes more sense. And loop it back around into the pearl. Now you can see how the thread is showing there. All you have to do is hang on to your needle with your thread on it and push your pearl down in place next to the other beads here, and then pull it like that. You're going to see a couple of things are going to happen. They're going to get loose at times when you're working it. They're also, these super duos are going to flip from side to side. Don't worry. That's the reason why we go back and forth in the design to create it. It is a bit frustrating if you're a beader like me that likes their tension tight and likes everything in place. It's frustrating, but try to be open. It will turn out really lovely. You don't have to, have it super tight all the time. So I'm putting on a 11-0 and a pearl. Let me do this. Here's how I can tell these pearls are really good. They're hard to get your needle on because they have those little tails. The finishes past the actual pearl, which is great because you don't want them where the finish doesn't, like it ends on the pearl and you see this white of the pearl. So an 11-0 and a 6mm pearl, bring that down. You can work it that way on your mat to less stress. So you're going to pick up an 11-0 and 5 super duos. I have a question for you guys. This set of super duos that I got from a company, we don't have to name names. It's not John Bead, so we won't name names. Do you see this one here is a different color than the rest? And I have that throughout. I went through, because I have a couple of these bottles of these beads, super duos, and I went through and kind of sorted by the lighter yellows with the orangey colored yellows, and it just was a mess. So I was like, oh, just, use them the way they are. But do you ever get that where it's clearly a different dye lot or something and got mixed in? So this is what you want to put on there. Sorry for the distraction. I need your help. Always. 11-0, 5 super duos, 11-0. You're going to take that down to your work. And we're going to go back around to the underside of the pearl. So the opposite side that we are coming out of. And come through just the pearl. You can hang on to it like that. It's not a big deal. It will all straighten out, and pull that tight, holding your pearl. So then these get nice and tight, and it pushes the pearls into the next set of pearls. So we're going to pick up an 11-0, a pearl, an 11-0, 5 super duos, and an 11-0. So you can do this all at once. I was doing it in 2 steps just to show you, and I'll show you what we have. Sec here, we get this down a bit. So this is what you want to put on your needle here. So you've got an 11-0, 6mm pearl, an 11-0, and you've got 5 super duos and an 11-0. So now we're going to come down, bring it all the way down, come down to the pearl that we just put on, to the opposite side that we're coming out of. So we're coming out of the top, we're going to go to the bottom and bring that in. It's hooked on my fingers. Pull it all the way down and take your finger and push your pearl down towards the rest of the work, holding on to your thread, and that brings everything in place. Okay, you're going to continue till every pearl is on there. You have 12 pearls we're going to do. So 11-0, 6mm pearl, 11-0, and 5 super duos, another 11-0, bring that down, that. I like to pick it up, it's just easier to deal with. So you're looping back around to the bottom side of that pearl we just added. You're just going through the pearl, don't go through the 11-0 seed bead. The reason being is when we go to add the next ones, we're creating, let me show you here. We're creating this set of 3 11-0s, and that's important because we need those once we start going through everything else. So just keep going. 11-0, pearl, 11-0, 5 super duos, 11-0. That's what we have. Bring those down. And go through just the pearl. I cleaned my bead mat when just before the video. I was going to say the movie starring Baby Squirrel. And you know what? I'm still coming across fur. I'm going to have to start closing my office door. I think the cat's coming in here and sleeping on the bead mat. Stinker. So pick up an 11-0, a pearl, 11-0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 super duos and 1 11-0. Bring it down. Go through the bottom of your pearl and just the pearl. Bring that through and set it down. Get everybody situated on their proper side. So I'm going to pause the camera. I'll put the rest of them on and we'll do the next step. Hi everyone, I'm back. So we have all of them stitched together. Now what we want to do is we want to put these seed beads in between the tips of the super duos all the way around, and we also want to put 2 at the connection where the pearl is, and I'll show you exactly, but I'm just pointing this out because we're going to do a step here. We're going to add 6 11 O's to go around the pearl, and that does this piece here, this first section here of the 6 around the pearl. So that gets us to the next. I think what I did initially was I had it in the lower one and then turned around. That makes no sense. I'll just go in the top one and do it that way. Hopefully it'll work. I'm practicing on you. So let's pick up. So we have them all there. Make sure they're all next to each other. So you hang on to your thread and pull the pearl down. There was a few that got loose, but they're pretty easy to get all nice and flush together. So pick up 6 11 O's. Like that. So you have 6. You're coming out of the pearl. You're going to go into this. See, I think initially I just came around the pearl and went through here and then turned around, and yeah, it was confusing. So let's try this. Go straight into that section. Yeah, I think we are going to have to go through the bottom one because it's getting all twisty. That doesn't look right. So let's come back. I was trying to get it a little quicker. I can't get over the cat hair. Okay, so we've got our 6. We're going to go through this 11 here, and we're going to go through just the bottom hole of the first super duo because we're going to want to come back around so we can set ourselves up there like that. Actually, I apologize. We're going to come out of that. I think I have a better idea. Let's back out. I may have to take my thread off. Oh, there, that's fine. Looks like it's going to work. No. Let's take your thread off. That's, you know what, that's usually the best way to do it is just take your thread off and pull it out. I could have come around. Oh well. Shouldn't be too hard to get threaded. There. Okay. So again, you can see it's gotten loose. Just hang on to your thread and pull your pearl down. So our beads are all there. So we're going to come around this way. We're going to go through the pearl, skipping those beads, those 3 beads. I think that's the best way to do it. Come through the pearl. That way we'll have a nice even set of 11 O's circling the pearl. Then what we can do is go through this 11 O here. That. And now we'll go through the top hole of the super duo. There. Pick up 1. Let's see if I can do it on the mat. Show you a little easier. Okay, so I'll go through the next super duo. There. And you're going to put an 11-0 in between each of those super duos. That. So if you have different color seed beads that you want to use in this design, definitely it would just remember you want something that's going to embellish that. Let's put this in order here. There. Go through the next super duo. Okay, one more here. Through the next super duo. And now we're at the bottom side of this super duo. We're going to put 2 11-0s and then we're going to come up through the bottom side of the next flower super duo. So pick up 2. You're coming out of this super duo. You're going to go into this super duo. And once you do this, this pretty much stops them from flipping and flopping onto the other side. Pick up a super duo or an 11-0. Go through the next super duo. That. Pick up an 11-0. You can do this holding it in your hand. Like if you're like me and you like to hold your work when you're beading, definitely can do it. Again, you're going to get frustrated because these things are going to be moving around. But as long as you stop and look at them after each flower, you're fine. You know, that you don't end up weaving 11-0s into the wrong flower. I think it would be hard to do, but it could happen. That. Now we're going to pick up 2 because we're going to do the connection. 2 11-0s. Pick up the next super duo. That. So I'll try it holding it in my hand, see if that's a little easier. Do you see what I mean? They're flip-flopping around. So you can do it this way. Sometimes I don't take all the thread through. Just be careful you don't tangle your thread that way. I usually try it a couple of times and then I tangle my thread and say, okay, I'm done with that. There's the last one. Pull your thread all the way through. And like I said, it tangles sometimes. I think I crisscrossed. Oh my heavens. No, it didn't. Phew. I was like, why? Why is it doing this to me? You guys are laughing. Pick up 2 11-0s. Come through the bottom. I was kind of hoping to not pause the camera so many times but you know what? I think I might. So you got the idea now. When I get to the end, I will come back and show you the turnaround, and then it's basically the same on the other side. Okay, so we're at the end of the one side. So normally we would connect to, say, a second set of super duos, but because we're at the end, what we're going to do is how did I do that on the, I think we'll do, bring our thread through 2 of these beads, and then we're going to go through the pearl and we're going to add 6 beads. So we're going to do, so we're going to go through this 11-0, that snug, then we're going to go through the next 11-0, and we're going to go through the pearl, and that will most likely turn that seed bead around. That's fine if it does that. Might not yet. Go through here, that, and we're going to add 6 11-0s. There. We're going to come back around to this seed bead here. Go through the first one. That. We're going to go through the 11-0 and the pearl. That. Let's take a look. You will find that since we have the one side done, you see how it's curling a bit. No, it's not a big deal, because once we do it to this side, that side's going to want to curl it and it will even it out, and there's lots of space with the thread. So now take your thread. You're going to go through the 11-0, but you're going to just go through the 11-0 like that, and you're going to go through the top hole of the super duo. And now you're all ready to do the same as we did on the other side. We're going to put an 11-0 in between super duos, pick up another 11-0, another 11-0, another 11-0, it's hooked on something there. Okay, so there's our 11-0s around the super duos. Now we're going to make the connection between the 2 separate super duos. So we need 2 11-0s. Go through the top hole like that, and go through your top holes of your 11-0, your super duo, adding 11-0s. That. There. Through the super duo, So you can see it's starting to flatten out nicely. So I'm going to pause the camera. I'll do the rest and I'll show you how to finish it. So now we have all of them in there. We need to get back to the top of the super duos to add our embellishment of the 4mm bicones. So I came up with the idea of maybe doing ladder stitch around here and creating another circle. So that's what you see over here. So I think we should go ahead and do that. You could actually skip that process there, go through one of these beads and then come back around up like that as well, if it's, you know, if you prefer, if it's simpler. So I am gonna just go through. I'm looking at where the hole from my super duo, because that's where my thread's coming out of, where it lines up with, and it lines up with this bead here. So I'm gonna use that as my starting bead for the ladder stitch, just like that. Or actually it's box stitch. So pick up an 11/0, then come back down. Your thread's coming out of the top of that 11/0. You're coming down to the bottom, but you're also passing through the second bead or the bead above it, so that we're ready for to receive the next bead. And let me just get this lined up correctly here. Looks a bit awkward, but we'll go through them and line them up properly just by passing through. So pick up an 11/0. This thread is really curly. So go through the bottom of the bead you're coming out of, then pass through the bead above. You've got your seed bead on there. You can hold your finger there. That might line them up a little better. There, like that. Pick up an 11/0. You're coming out of the top of this bead. You're going to go through the bottom and then pass through the bead above it. Just pinch it there to keep that in line. There you go. That one behaved. Pick up an 11/0. Go through the bottom and go through the next bead as well. Pick up 11/0. Go through the bottom and then go through the next bead. And for this one here, I added an extra bead. So here I would only add one bead normally, but I'm going to add two because as we go out, there's less space for the beads. So let's add two beads there and then go through the bottom of that bead. That's going to hook on those and bring those out. I'm going to take my thread or my needle, go through all those beads on the outside. That. Just hold it there. And go through here, go through these ones. There. And I'm going to add one to the bottom as well. As you can see, there's a bit of space there. And I'm just going to go through. And now we need to turn around. So I'm going to go through the 11/0 right next to the bead I just came out of, through the super duo, and I'm going to step up to the top hole of that super duo, and then I'm going to go through these beads at the same time, a second time. that. And you see it pulls it all together nicely. Go through the rest of them. Go through the super duo. Just pinch them with your finger and then pull tight, and it lines these guys up as well. So now you've got this nice little round edge. So now we're going to make our way to the outer side, or the left-sided part of this second super duo here. So second from the end. Go through a few here. Go through the next super duo and the 11-0. Okay, so this is the super duo we want to be coming out of. It's the second to last one every time. You're not going to go through that bead. You're just going to go through the top hole of that super duo. That. Okay, let's get our bicones. Don't think we need these anymore. Seems everything's staticky today. And our demi rounds. So pick up a demi round, a 4mm bicone, and a demi round. You're coming out of the second last super duo, skipping that bead. You're going to go to the second one on the next set of super duos, like that. And pull it tight. And that's all. Go through your 11-Os and your super duos. Do as many as you can go through with your needle without bending your needle too much. But don't forget, we need to be coming out of this super duo without passing through any 11-O. Pick up a demi round, 4mm bicone, and a demi round. That. Jump to the next set of super duos. You're going to go through the top hole of the second super duo, bypassing all the 11-Os, and you can pull it snug. And that will give everything some more structure. And then we'll go through the rest. You're going to do that all the way. We're going to add the square stitch again on the other side to do our turnaround. Go through these and come out the second to last super duo through the top hole. Pick up a demi round, a bicone, a demi round. Go to the next set of super duos. Go through the second one. You can see this is starting to look lovely. So, we just have one more. Might as well do it. Through the super duo. This part's pretty quick and easy. I think all of this different things are pretty easy. Go through the second one on the next set of super duos. That. Finish off going through everything. And go through the super duo, top hole of the super duo. This one's a little easier because we're in the right position to start adding some brick stitch. So let's go through. We're going to go through the 2 beads. The first bead we're not going to do a brick or a square stitch because it's flush against the super duo, so it doesn't really need it. It would end up just pushing it away, so you don't want to do that. Pick up an 11/0, come to the bottom of this second 11/0, go through it, and then go through the bead above, like that. Pick up an 11/0, go through the bottom of the bead you're coming out of, and then go through the bead above it as well. Pick up an 11/0, go through the bead that you're coming out of and the bead above. You can get your finger there to kind of position them, untwist them. Keep doing that. That. Through. That. And let's put 2 beads here on this last one. I think that might have been where my knot is. Like that. Now we're going to come back through all of the beads that we added. Let me just flip that, it might be easier to go through. Go through a few, pull it snug, go through the next 3, snug, turn it around. So that's not too bad. I would prefer there wasn't that much space in between these. But like I said, this is a new design that I came up with. So yeah, there's that. Now, what we can do now is we can add our little loop. This area here, I think I do 7. Let's go through this super duo here. And we're going to use that to anchor our work there. Then come through the other hole of that same super duo. Like that. Just make sure my thread doesn't come off. Okay, so now we can, how many did I go up? We're going to go pass through 3 of the 11/0s on the outer edge, like that. Just like that. And we're going to pick up 7 11/0s. You probably don't need 7. You can add less if you like. I like to make sure there's lots of room for my jump ring to move around. See how it's moving around? if I were to say take away 2 or 3 of those beads, there'd be nowhere for it to move. And that's just because if it's too tight, it sometimes will get twisted and tangled, and that's when things are going to break. So we're going to skip 3 beads and we're going to go through the last bead. And we're going to come back around one more time. So actually what I might do is go through this super duo, go through the top hole of the super duo, then go through the bottom hole. So you're actually turning around. And let's see if we can get through this. These 11 O's next to the pearl. There. Go through the rest of them. And come out right where we added the second one, because we're going to do, actually no, we're going to go through this super duo. I prefer to anchor my thread on the super duo than seed beads. So just go through the bottom hole of that first super duo, then step up to the top hole. There's probably, not necessarily better ways, but there's probably other ways to do this. Just be aware, like I said, this is a new design that I did. I get so excited I have to show you right away. And part of it too is if I don't show you right away, I move on to something else and then I forget. So actually this was done in the summer, this design. So, it's not as polished as it could be. I'll leave that up to you guys. So now we're ready to add the other side. So pass through these. You gotta come out the second to last super duo. This one here. Pick up a demi-round, a bicone, a demi-round. We're going to go through the second super duo of the next set, like that, and then continue on doing the same until we get to the end. Go through this second to last super duo, pick up demi-round, a bicone, a demi-round, go through the second super duo, that, and continue on to the end. So I'll pause the camera and come back, we'll finish off. So we're right at the end, so we're going to create another loop on the other side. This loop looks really small compared to the ones I did. Oh well. So this is where we ended. I'm going to go 3 beads up, the 11 O's, that. We're going to pick up 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to go through the last 11-0, go through the super duo. So that's what it should have looked like on the other side. I don't know why it didn't. Okay, then go to the lower hole of that super duo. Pass through. We're right at the end of the thread, so just a heads up, if you don't want to switch, like add thread to this design, give yourself a wingspan and a bit. The bit will probably, prevent your thread from popping out of your needle in a tight spot. So otherwise, you just add some thread in regular way. I'm going to go through the pearl like that. And then we're going to go through the 11-0s, coming back one more loop on this so that it's at least 2 threads thick. That. Pass through these again. I was just checking to see if it was in focus. And go through here. Now we can tie off. I'm going to go through these guys and I'm going to tie off just before the bicone, and then that way I can hide my knot inside the bicone. I like to put my knot in a large bead, but it doesn't really matter at the end of your work because you're not going to be passing through it again. But so let's pick up the thread bridge for that bicone. That. Wrap your thread around. Make sure that, I don't think that, no, it didn't go around. There we go. And put your thumb on there so that that thread doesn't jump over that demi round. Then go through here. And there. So the knot popped into the hole. And that should be good. Cut that off. And that's what you have. Oh. So let me know if you make this. I'm really curious. This came from an idea that I had. I've seen a lot of flowered super duos, and I wanted to do something different because they're so pretty and it's so nice to do flowers with super duos. So I wanted to make it unique and different. And I came up with this kind of weaving back and forth. Because the funny thing is, each pearl does not have super duos around it. But because they're so close together, it actually looks like it does. So, yeah, that turned out nice. So grab your pliers. I'm using, I think this is a 7mm jump ring. Twist it gently, but you do have to open it wide to get over the 11-0 seed beads. Put your slider clasp on it and then go through this loop that we made. It looks a bit janky. Not my usual. I'll be taking this apart, fixing it. It looks fine. It's just different. So thank you, everybody. This box has been so much fun, and everyone's been so encouraging with the different design ideas that I had. So I really appreciate it. I really enjoy the comments and responding to them. And a huge thank you to John Bead for another wonderful box. I think my brain's going to explode when I get to the Easter one. Just saying, seems to be my favorite season for, doing work with beads. I think it's because they look like candy. And when we were growing up, we went 40 days without candy just for Easter to get all the chocolates. So there we go. There's 2. Soon to be a 3rd. Oh, these turned out nice. There we go. Take care, everybody. See you in the next video. Bye.